Since the age of 6 to now that she's 14 years old, Abiba Jao has repeatedly been sexually assaulted, allegedly by her own biological father. The helpless teenager, who has been living with her father and younger sister, attributes her silence to numerous death threats received. Our reporters were on the field and they'll be giving us updates about what happened. And away from that, we'll tell you in politics how Bello Buba Maigari, presidential candidate for the National Union for Democracy and Progress (NUDP) party, during a meeting held in Limbe, outlines his vision for peace and development in Cameroon's Anglophone regions. He promises to organize an inclusive national dialogue while talking to separatists about the ongoing crisis and equally coming to terms with all of them, and also to grant the regions a status which will permit them have the liberty to exercise self-governance, taking stock of their educational, legal and socio-cultural background. Those are top stories tonight. This is the 6 p.m. edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinoxe Television. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for staying with us. For presentation, I am Immaculate Fogwe. A 59-year-old man is under detention for allegedly sexually assaulting his 14-year-old biological daughter in Douala. The victim told our reporters that it all began when she was just 6 years old, and Abila met with the victim and now tells us more.
Planning on me, I was crying every day.
14-year-old Abiba Jao explains to us in total confusion how she has been sexually abused by her own father since she was 6.
Every night she came to take me and bring me to him. Every day I do not want that every time she come in the night and do this to me.
The little girl lived with her biological father in their father's family house at the Nous, détenons neighborhood of Douala.
My small sister said that I don't want to go to the house. My mother said that why do you not want to go? She started crying. After my mother said that why your sister do not want to go house? I tell her, Mommy, I want to tell you something. She said that, tell me yeah.
She sleeps in the parlor with her 10-year-old younger sister while her father occupies the room. At night, she explains, her 59-year-old dad creeps into the parlor and orders her into his room.
A reaction that when my father comes, she can see but cannot talk. Every day she sees it but she's not talking to anybody, my auntie, my uncle. With
death threats from her father, the only person she could talk to was her younger sister. Helpless, they kept praying for when their mom will come for them.
Every day I pray God that my mother come and take me and bring me to their house. Every day I pray, also my sister, tell her every day we should pray.
The mother is surprised on how a child can be sexually traumatized by her own father.
Son père même, qui a eu son premier enfant à 51 ans, qui vient voir son enfant et qu'il fait cette chose-là à son enfant. Franchement.
She filed a complaint and got a 59-year-old arrested before he could finally confess to the abomination.
C'est quand on arrive dans au poste, l'enquêteur me dit de montrer, on a monté tous les examens, c'est là où on dit que non, c'est toi, c'est derrière qu'il a reconnu que oui, c'est lui qui a fait ça.
I want that every day somebody can come and beat him.
Medical examinations were conducted and Abiba needs an urgent operation which will cost 3 million francs CFA.
L'enfant là où elle n'avait pas fait l'essai, il faut que je paye que les fruits. Vraiment, on m'aide par rapport à cet enfant pour son opération. Son opération par 3 millions.
This happens to be one of those melancholic stories where kids are sexually abused by their own fathers and the crimes sometimes go by unpunished.
Chaque temps quand on mettait toujours Equinoxe, je vois souvent certaines personnes qui se dénonçaient. C'est là où j'ai eu le courage de dire à ma mère.
Children, especially the girl child, are urged to always take the courage to speak up when anybody tries to tamper with their bodies.
And we are hoping that justice will be served for the teenager who was recently raped. Away from that, a 7-year-old girl who was recently chained by her aunt right here in the city of Douala is receiving medical attention after a public outcry demanding justice for the child. According to reports, the young girl's condition is being closely monitored by medics at the Japoma District Hospital. Malaglori provides an update on the girl's health situation.
At the Japoma District Hospital this Friday, 5th August 2025, 5 days after Little Mercy was found in an inhumane condition. Meeting with the medical personnel at the hospital, we were told Mercy regained her health and left the premises. Talking with the director of the hospital through a phone call, he recounts the situation in which Mercy arrived at the hospital. There were signs of physical torture on her, and she looked very weak as she didn't eat for days. Dr. Obam Assam furthers that the victim has been transferred to a better environment for proper follow-up, adding that they have no idea on the whereabouts of the little girl who was taken away by the security officials. A psychotherapist is essential for her follow-up to ensure that she has recovered a stable mental health, and we have equally arranged a team that will be checking her up from time to time once we have the chance. We have no idea where she has been taken to. While at the 16th Public Security Unit of Douala, we learned from an unofficial source that the little girl is at the Social Welfare Service, while the victim has been taken to the Ndokoti Court of First Instance for questioning and will be transferred to the Bonanjo High Court. She is expected to be transferred later to the Newberg prison on a pre-trial detention. Affaire à suivre.
And in other news, Cameroon's media landscape is under threat as the October 12th presidential election approaches. Femi Armstrong Sanda explores the challenges facing press freedom in the country, with journalists facing harassment, violence, and, let's say, intimidation. That is according to Reporters Without Borders. His report.
According to the reports from Reporters Without Borders, Cameroonian journalists operate in a hostile and precarious environment where critical reporting is often met with repression. The government's dominance over the media regulator of the National Communications Council and the appointment of state-owned media heads by presidential decree have contributed to a culture of self-censorship, it says. The report highlights several challenges facing journalists in Cameroon, including violence and intimidation. The institution says journalists are frequently subjected to verbal and physical attacks, arbitrary arrests, and detentions. With regards to censorship and self-censorship, the report says media outlets in Cameroon face restrictions and journalists often self-censor to avoid repercussions. Regarding the precarious working conditions in Cameroon, Reporters Without Borders say journalists work under unstable economic conditions, undermining their independence. The murder of renowned journalist Martinez Zogo in January 2023 and the killing of Anyende So, bureau chief of the Advocate newspaper, in May 2023 have underscored the risks faced by journalists in Cameroon. As the presidential election in the country approaches, concerns are growing over the potential for increased censorship and repression. In October 2024, for example, a ministerial communique bound media discussions on the president's health, raising fears about the government's commitment to press freedom across the country.
And now we talk politics. Presidential candidate for the National Union for Democracy and Progress, Bello Buba Maigari, has promised to organize an inclusive national dialogue with all the parties of the current armed conflict in northwest and southwest regions, and also to grant the regions a status which would permit them have the liberty to exercise self-governance, taking stock of their educational, legal, and socio-cultural background. He made the declaration in Limbe while on a pre-campaign trail. His visit to the southwest region was another but smooth. His visit to the southwest region was anything but smooth. Rex Afon paints a picture of how it went.
Inhabitants of the southwest region have been witnesses to a harsh irony where a journey meant to inspire hope is instead derailed by the frustration it seeks to address. Presidential candidate Bello Buba Maigari's visit to Limbe was less a triumphant process, but more of a test of endurance.
I've come to Limbe to meet you today with one clear message. The future of Cameroon will never be built without Southwest region.
As though they knew he bore a message of hope and relief for the suffering people of the Southwest region, administrative maneuvers tried to no avail to stop him from speaking to a people said to be desperate for salvation. He braved the odds and finally breathed hope to the people of the region.
For too long, you've carried the burden of conflict, fear, and neglect. If elected President of the Republic on the 12th of October, I will organize in the first 6 months of my term a truly inclusive national dialogue. Our children must return to school. Our farmers must go back to their farms. Our traders must move freely once again. The Southwest region will be granted a truly special status, a status that respects your legal and educational traditions. And above all, the Southwest will be the Silicon Valley of Cameroon.
After just over an hour, Bello Buba Maigari, who had planned to stay longer, leaves the town of Limbe. For the people of the Southwest region, the happenings at the seaside town are a reminder that democracy is not always paved and that every promise made on this battered ground must first cross the chasms of neglect.
In the same vein, the visit of the President of the National Union for Democracy and Progress, Bello Buba Maigari in Limbe yesterday was temporarily disrupted following the closure of the event hall, which created a tense atmosphere with the presence of riot police. Our reporter Davison Maimo investigated why the doors of the event were closed when the NUDP had an authorization signed by the divisional officer for Limbe 1. His report.
Contrary to social media claims on September 4, 2025, that the divisional officer for Limbe 1 subdivision, Moni Innocent, had directly or indirectly banned the National Union for Democracy and Progress, NUDP party gathering, our source reveals that the authorities of the Women Empowerment and Family Center were responsible for the door closure, which temporarily disrupted the event, thereby vindicating the divisional officer for Limbe 1. The center's authorities claim the organizers had lied about the true purpose of their gathering, stating it was a routine NUDP Limbe meeting rather than a gathering to welcome the party's national chairman, Bello Buba Maigari, a candidate for the 2025 presidential election. This discrepancy led to the doors being closed, as per the agreement with NUDP Limbe officials. The incident created a tense atmosphere with an increased police presence in the area. However, after an explanation from the divisional officer of Limbe 1 in an emergency security meeting convened by FACO Senior Divisional Officer Viang Mekala, the doors were ordered to be opened. Our sources confirm that the FACO Senior Divisional Officer also requested the center authorities to clearly outline the rules for hiring the center in writing to prevent similar incidents in the future. Despite a brief disruption, the event proceeded without a hitch, with Bello Buba Maigari well secured by security personnel throughout his stay in Limbe.
And that's it for this first part of the news. Cameroon Today comes up next. Kiosi, a border town in Cameroon's east region, is crying out for attention. Despite its strategic location between Equatorial Guinea and Gabon, The town lacks basic infrastructure, including roads, and is plagued by smuggling due to lax border control. CHAMJI Barnabas takes us on a journey to Equinoxe, a town that feels left behind by local authorities. His report.
Equinoxe is the border town between Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea and Gabon. Because of the better lifestyle in Equatorial Guinea and Gabon, majority of Cameroonians have decided to migrate into these towns for greener pastures. Equinoxe is not enjoying the benefits of being a border town. The road network between Equinoxe is a call for concern. Then that of electricity too. We have problems here with electricity. Before, we made weeks in darkness. Lately, a pole had an issue and agents of the company in charge passed without saying anything. The divisional officer helped us. Since I'm a businesswoman, I usually keep my things in the refrigerator. When there is no electricity, after 2 to 3 days, everything gets rotten. You can see how the chairs are empty. If there was electricity, it wouldn't have been like that. Another key problem is that of debt. Debt thrown haphazardly have taken hostage of Equinoxe central town, and this has been so for years. This is the debt of 2013 until the former mayor has gone, and now the new mayor, we were thinking that he will remove everything, hasn't done so. The one above is for the first mayor who has gone, and the one here is for the new one. Everyone here is disturbed with the debt. The debt has literally blocked the road, making citizens to question if a mayor even exists in the town. Several years ago, we were made to understand that Chinese have bought the debt. How did they even manage to sell debt? The debt has overdue until it's even entering people's rooms. Sometimes we unite to clean the place, but it changes nothing. The mayor has never been here and we don't even know him. All attempts to meet up with the mayor failed. Equinoxe is also the borderline to Equatorial Guinea, but it's always closed at the Equatorial Guinean end. But Cameroonians usually use the back road with the assistance of local authorities. 26 years that have been in Equinoxe, the text on free circulation is effective, but on the ground it's not. That is why there exist several ways into Equatorial Guinea. The legal roads into Equatorial Guinea is always closed, so the guys have to use different paths. A lot of riches and many unidentified products arrive Cameroon via illegal means, which are encouraged by security forces, but very risky too. Experts say Cameroon lost millions of francs CFA due to this backdoor business.
And that's how we saw it on tonight's edition of Cameroon Today. Talking Point comes up next. My guest on Talking Point today is CHAMJI Barnabas. He is a regional campaign president for the NUDP party in the Southwest region. Good evening. It's a pleasure having you on Talking Point tonight. Can you please describe what happened at your party's gathering in Limbe yesterday, where we saw security officers disrupting the event that was before the event was to happen? And I would like to know, did your party follow the proper procedure in obtaining authorization for the said meeting?
It was a delegate in Goya. But we said the delegate had nothing to do with this thing. So, but in my mind, I just called in my head that it was a conspiracy, because if the commissioner could come down and they call police, meanwhile the police knew that we had to hold our meeting there. They would don't know why they would come again and disturb us in the morning when they knew we hold the meeting at 1 o'clock. So it was just something which was, I think, as they used to say, l'ordre vient d'en haut. We thought that order came from above. So we sat quiet, but we called the chairman, the entourage of the chairman around Tico. They were coming and they said we should keep quiet. So the chairman came, he passed, instead of coming here, he went to Boya. So he asked us to look for vehicles and carry all the militants, even if it is 1,000 militants, and bring to Boya. But it seems they themselves saw that what they were doing was not correct. So the SDO came. And when he came, he called for me. I met him. I explained everything to him. And the man was convinced, and he said, but he does not know why they are telling us to leave that hall. That go, you should hold your meeting there. That where is the woman who gave us that receipt? I showed the office. He went there and told the woman that if they don't hold that meeting, she'll have problem. That is where the woman said, okay. Even the meeting they were saying that they were holding, the hall, the compound is big. There is another hall this way. We were surprised that they held the meeting this other way. That hall was empty. When they have removed all the chairs, destroyed everything, decoration, they tempered with everything. So that's when we said, when the SDO said we should go and hold our meeting, even if it is an empty hall, let us put the chairs back. We did so, and we called the chairman again. He said, okay, he is coming.
Now, the case of the NUDP party seems to be very peculiar. The sudden overturning of the divisional officer's decision by a higher authority, that is a senior divisional officer, has raised eyebrows. Let's say this. Is there a special arrangement, or let's say understanding, that allows your party to navigate this situation, or does it suggest a close relationship with the ruling CPDM party?
It is not even a problem of having any relationship. It is just that when they concert, they saw that it was a sabotage, and they would sabotage them all over the media. Because by then, they started, the SGO came when we were filming everything and sending. So they saw that that thing would bring problem. That is when they said, you should go and allow them. At what time? At 4. It is not the problem of being in relationship with the party. We have already break this thing with the CPDM. We don't have anything to do with them. So I don't say anything to say it is because if that was the case, then from the beginning, they could have not stopped us. They knew themselves that the SDO did that. The DO did, because at the beginning, the DO told us that we cannot do anything outside. That another political parties will also say, because the campaign has not started, we said it was just a meeting. It was just a meeting, a small pre-campaign. It was just a meeting. He said the SDO refused. But when the SDO had, we told him, he called the SDO and told him that no, they will do it inside, not outside, inside the hall. The SDO accepted. We sent the authorization. He read, copied the SDO, and the SDO accepted, he signed. So it was not a matter of, if you see in this country, as you have just asked me that question, some people will take that advantage to say, oh, you know, yes, it is because they were in government and they could not do this. Then what was the case of Menganga, where the militants were coming, a DO blocked the road. So we have nothing relationship again with them. But even before then, we're not. You see, when people were talking of, it was a platform with government, not with CPDM, although they were the ruling party. So I don't think we went out of government. Our chairman resigned, and it's no more with them. So if they can do that, it means there is something behind. You see, when they are seeing the publicity he is doing in the North region, everywhere, because he's going to tour the 10 regions of Cameroon, the 10 regions. When they see like that, they will say, hey, this man has started very strongly. Let us try to block him somewhere. And that is what they wanted to do.
Party has no close relationship with the regime in power, whereas we saw other opposition parties like the PCRN and the CRN party face similar disruptions, and at the end they finally didn't hold their meeting. What do you think could be the root cause of these issues, and how can the government ensure a level playing field for all political parties at the moment, especially knowing fully well that the presidential elections are at the corner? That's the 12th of October.
You know, politics is a game. I will take you an example for football, like football. If a team knows that you will come and win them, they will organize the way that if you are leading them, they will bring problems. So spectators enter inside and just destroy it, and the match will go off. So it is their system. It is what they do. The CPDM, they have a very bad system of play. They don't want to see somebody to say this is a party which is strong. Even now, we are still hoping that perhaps they will still do it elsewhere, because the chairman is in Bamenda today. We don't know what will happen there. And they just, we know very well, they wanted that if we obstruct with force, let them even shoot people, let them even kill people. So it was a very bad act, very bad act. But instead they are doing bad to themselves, not to us. That destroying the image of the government, not us.
The United Nations has expressed concerns about the shrinking civic space in Cameroon. How do you think the government can address these concerns and create an environment that allows opposition parties to operate freely, especially at this moment?
You know, when you have the habit of destroying, of disturbancy, and other very bad things, you cannot change. Even the UN you are talking, even if the UN will sing until once, I think, which minister said, Cameroon is Cameroon, UN is UN. So UN can talk because they know UN cannot come here. How many times they see how they were catching people when MRC wanted to manifest, not to destroy. They were just with their placard telling the government what is not right. And it is what happens everywhere in this world. And they caught most of them, they are still in prison. Like yesterday, if we brought brutality, perhaps I myself personally, I could have been the same. So when you say, how can UN address this one to the government will not hear. The government will say the Cameroon has its own laws, the UN has its own laws. So it is very, very regrettable, because I don't think in a country like Cameroon, for how many years today, that Mr. Paul Biya has been in power. 40-something years. They cannot redress even the laws, everything, and put everything straight. If today they know that in Parliament, a law that promulgated a law which says it is this, and then when they discover that the law is not favoring them, they will do everything, call an extraordinary of the Parliament and change it, which will favor them. It is just that this time around, the population, Cameroonians, they have decided that things will change, and we are sure it will change.
CHAMJI Barnabas, Regional Campaign President, NUDP Party for the Southwest Region, thank you so much for your time. And that's all for the cap to today's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thank you so much for your keen attention. Stay the company of interesting programs on ETV and have a wonderful evening and weekend. Bye-bye for now.